Hey, y'all. I hope you're surviving crazy peak season for so many of you out there. Remember, you're amazing. You're wonderful. Take some deep breaths. Make sure you're getting sleep. Get some natural sunlight. Even if it's just for a couple minutes, you deserve it. I also want to remind you all I offer a limited number of free coaching calls every week. So if you're struggling with something, if you're feeling stuck, if you're not sure what the heck coaching is, all this is you and I one on one on a call, just talking about what's going on, trying to help get you unstuck. There is zero commitment. People love this. They walk away feeling so much better. I can't tell you how many people I've met and helped by offering these free coaching sessions. So if this is something that you think would be helpful for you or someone you work with or someone on your team, tell them to go and use this free resource. I'll put a link in the show notes, but just go to lindsaylymancoaching.com/chat. And it's as simple as that. Do yourself a favor and take care of you. Prioritize you for just 30 minutes. So much can change in just 30 minutes. Today, we're going all in on commitment at work. And I'm going to talk about, are you committed to your career or your job? And where many of us struggle, and how to make sure you're committing to your career, to those bigger goals, to ultimately what you want, and not to the current thing you have in front of you right now. We all know work today is not the same as it was when our parents were working. It's not standard that you work for one company and work there your entire career and try to climb the corporate ladder. We bounce around now all the time. And in many companies, it's encouraged. When I was at Amazon, about every 2 to 4-ish years, depending upon your seniority, you were strongly encouraged to go to a new team, to rotate within the company, because we know the value of you need new challenges, you need new problems. It keeps your brain engaged, keeps you learning, keeps you motivated, keeps you driven. There's a ton of upside to it. But at the same time, it's scary to think about changing jobs or shifting your careers, especially nowadays when people get laid off. Those of you that are my tech friends who used to be in such high demand, I believe you're still in high demand. But as so many tech people got laid off after the pandemic, and it's still happening in waves, just not as big and heavy, thankfully, there's a lot of concern and worry around what we thought was safety and security in our job is no longer there. So there's a little bit even more hesitation to changing jobs, to shifting careers, because that uncertainty is gone. And I think for a lot of us, we probably won't ever have that same certainty in our jobs again. You also need a path. You need to know how to get to where you want to go. So when we think about changing jobs or changing careers, it can get really scary. There's also a famous quote that really resonated with me that I've talked about from Robert Brault that says, "We're kept from our goals, not from obstacles, but from a clear path to a lesser goal." So I want to dive into a little bit of how do you look at what are you committed to right now, and how do you get to that place where you can find the path to get to where you want to be? The Oxford Dictionary defines committed as feeling dedicated and loyal to a cause, activity, or job. They say it's wholeheartedly dedicated. Okay, so you're like all in, 100% in. The way you know what you're committed to is you look at your current results today. Now, this is hard for a lot of my clients. We have a lot of pretty honest, truthful conversations. We think we're committed to our partners. We think we're committed to our mental health, to our physical health, to being good humans, to contributing, to giving back to our job. And in some areas, we are committed. But in a lot of those areas, we are not actually committed. For example, I was talking to a good friend the other day, and this person so badly, so deeply, in their core, they want to be free and feel calm and feel connected to a partner and have this deep, rich life outside of work. They're very successful and very good at their job. But what they believe they're committed to is finding this partner and having this deep, amazing connection. But as I was talking to them, and I was talking to them about, let's look at what you're actually committed to. It was things like working nights and almost every weekend, saying yes, taking the blame for things that weren't even their fault because they felt so much shame. They were committed to not having time outside of work to connect with people, to not going on 500,000 dates till they find that person, to not finding new hobbies. They were committing to covering for people on call. They were committed to letting their principal engineer lead with their ego and treat people like crap. They were committed to working on a team that's okay with people working through really important holidays. I could tell this is what they were committed to because this is what their current results are. This is what their current life is. How do you have that stability? How do you be a team player? How do you be committed to your career and not to your job? I think there's 2 key steps to doing this. First is you need to realize you're not actually committed to your job. You're attached to it. And there's a difference because committed is going all in and being 100% dedicated and focused, that wholeheartedly dedicated to it, and being very open and agile and fluid and nimble as to the path you take to get there, as to how you get there. When you are attached to something, you hold on tightly with a very strong grasp, almost in an unhealthy, suffocating way, to have a certain outcome. Okay? The attachment comes because you're dependent on that outcome that usually is going to make you feel good or safe or secure in some way. So, for example, let's look at like relationships. In your relationship, you're attached in some form when you need them to call or text you back or respond within a certain amount of time, or we start to get nervous. We start to get worried. You need that quick response from that message. You're attached when you overanalyze everything because, again, we're dependent on that outcome. We need that person to like us. We need them to validate us. We need them to want to be around us. We're attached to the end result. In a relationship, if you want to be committed, you're still going to call and text. And yes, we do still want them to respond in a timely manner. But if they don't, we don't freak out and make it mean something. We still, in a committed relationship, take times to ourselves. We don't have to be together 24/7. We still focus on work and doing our job. We be present with that person. We work through hard things with them. We communicate what we like, what we don't like, what we want, what we don't want. And we don't give up when it doesn't happen the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. We're not this all or nothing, hot or cold. We work through our fights and our arguments and our disagreements. In a committed relationship, you learn to compromise. You ask for what you want. You don't give ultimatums. In committed relationships, you have shared goals. You have shared things you're trying to learn and grow with together. You tell the truth. Okay? That attachment relationship, you're obsessed with getting a certain outcome. The committed relationship, you're all into getting through the hard parts of getting to where you want to go. When we look at this in terms of our career, you're not actually committed to the career you want. You're attached to the job you have. I see this when people are obsessed with getting a promotion, or they don't say no because they want their manager and team to like them. They're worried about the repercussions if they say no. They need the outcome of, I still have this job. I'm still thought of as a top tier employee. People like me. People want to work with me. You're attached to your job when you have zero tolerance for making mistakes. And I mean like you yourself making mistakes. When you obsess over hitting deadlines and do crazy, ridiculous things to get there. When you're chasing the money, you're chasing the title. we aren't committed to our job. We aren't committed to our career when that's what we're doing. We are attached to our job because we're so dependent on a specific outcome. Again, we are kept from reaching our goals by a clearer path to lesser goals. Guess what? At a lot of companies, there's a very clear path to getting your manager to like you, to getting promoted, to getting a raise, to getting that title change, to getting more scope. We know what path we need to go on to get there. But that clarity is holding you back from being committed and getting what you actually want, bigger picture in your career. Okay? So the first element you need to realize as you're trying to get committed to your career and not committed and attached to your job is you've got to be really clear on what is it you are actually committed today and what are those clear paths keeping you from getting to where you want to go. The second part is coming to terms that you are not 100% committed. It's really hard to be committed to something like 99% of the time. 100% is so much easier because when you're genuinely 100% committed, we remove all other options. There's no question involved. We don't have to keep making decisions and keep recommitting over and over and over again. It becomes just a part of who we are and our identity. When we're 100% committed, we cut off any alternative approach, right? They talk about like, how do you burn down the boats? You can't go back. As psychologists have studied this, they found a lot of people that are 100% committed to things, they've often had multiple moments where there's been a point of no return. And usually it's been in something financial, giving up some financial stability or making a huge shift financially, right? Leaving your current job to go all in and get to that future career you want, taking a hit in your pay to get that job that will get you to the career you want. Usually it's some sort of financial change. It doesn't have to be. That's just a lot of what the data has found is where you know you're 100% committed to doing it. So the next question I get from a lot of people is like, okay, sounds great. So how do I be 100% committed? Sounds lovely. And it kind of sounds scary and terrifying because that clear path, it's so much easier. It feels better. It feels safer. We don't have to financially make changes. Remember, we're committed to this bigger thing we want. That's ultimately where we want to end up. But here's the thing. If your current self, who you are today, the commitments you have, the results you have, the job you have, the things you're doing and not doing, if who you are today is dictating your future self, who you want to be, where you want to go, what you want to be committed to, you're going to stay attached to your current commitments and you're going to make small shifts and changes. If your future self, that thing you want to be committed to, that thing you want to have, if your future self is dictating who you are today, that is when you know you're committed. Because your current results show us your current commitments. Let me give you a couple examples of what I mean by this. Let's go back to my friend who really wants to be committed to having this deep connection partnership. Okay? When we look at their current self, you look at the results you have today, here's some of the things you might have. You might be checking your email very first thing in the morning. You're working nights and weekends. You're saying okay when your manager asks you to take another on-call schedule. You're taking pages in the middle of the night and working all night, working crazy hours and not sleeping, and then working a full day. You're not coming home and eating meals at your home or with another person. You're not present in conversations with the people you're engaging with at work or outside of work because you can't stop thinking about work. Okay? If that is your current result, if that is what you're actually committed to today, if we're trying to change our future self from who we are today, You're just going to make small tweaks and changes. This is where people love like a good hack or a tip or a trick. You're going to come up with a better scheduling system. You're going to go and talk to your manager about making a change to the on-call rotation so that it's spread out across more people and you don't have to be on call most of the time or as often. You're going to go out to dinner once a week with your partner. I'm not saying these things are bad, but do you see how these are like just small tweaks and changes? If your future self, what you want to be committed to, if that future person, let's say maybe they have a morning routine. Let's say some days they have very deep, focused work, and other days they have meetings, which are the opposite of all of those things. Maybe in the evenings, they're spending that time with their partner at home or going out to events or socializing or hosting dinner parties. Your future self that we're trying to be 100% committed to, guess what? They're present and working on shared goals with that partner. They're thinking about their weekend plans. They're hyper-focused and extremely productive on the core priorities at work. They may still work nights and weekends, but that's more the exception. It's very occasional and they don't freak out when they do. And they're learning and growing like crazy. So if we want to be 100% committed to that, we need to let that dictate who we are today. So we need to let our future self change our current self. What does that mean? It means we're going to say no. We're maybe going to go find a new job. Remember how I said like that point of no return, it usually includes something financially? You may need to make some big financial changes and shifts to live from your future self, to be 100% committed to what you want. You're maybe going to need to take some time off. You're maybe going to let unimportant deadlines slip and managers and leaders be annoyed and disappointed. You're going to have to start planning dinner parties right now, even though you don't have time and you're going to be worried. You're going to have to learn to be hyper-focused and productive at work and not go to stupid meetings. You're going to know what parts of your job can you do kind of B- work on and just let it slide and not worry about it and think about it and make it perfect. We're not attached to that job. We're committed to our future self. You're going to let others do their job or not do their job and deal with the consequences accordingly. You're going to get up and you're not going to check your email until you get into the office. You're going to have recovery days, not just vacations. You're going to go outside every day. You're going to manage your mental health. You're going to set yourself up with a team and a system that allows you to have that future self right now. Remember, the clear path to a lesser goal keeps us from reaching that bigger goal. Being attached to the quote unquote safety and security and what we have today is what's preventing you from being committed to what you really want and living from your future self. Let's look at another example. Let's say you want to be really committed to feeling like the work you're doing is important and contributing in a positive way. When I talk with my clients about like kind of their future selves and big picture, like what are their big career ambitions and goals, it's some flavor of they want to feel like the work they're doing is important. And a lot of times we don't feel that way with the current job we're attached to. So let's just say, for example, you want to be doing something in the space of reducing carbon emissions and helping global warming, okay? Your current self, if we're like attached to our job, attached to the results we have, and we're not 100% committed to that, here's what your current self might look like. You're probably thinking about it a lot. You're maybe talking about it a lot. You're looking around sometimes for opportunities and job in that space. You're bringing it up with people and trying to network in that space. Maybe you're doing some research about it, but you keep doing your same job. You're trying to find like the right time as to when you should maybe make a leap or get more serious about this. And if you're anything like myself and many of my clients, you like will pick a time frame, but then it'll pass because, right, something came up or it's just not the right time. So if that's what we're committed to right now, and we're trying to change our future from our commitment to where we are right now, here's the shifts, the small shifts that may happen. You might apply for a few jobs. You might spend some time getting clear on like what area specifically in that space you want to help in. Maybe you're going to take some courses. Maybe you're going to get a job at that company where you want to ultimately be driving that impact. It's not doing exactly what you want, but it's a step in the right direction, right? So if we think about what is that future self we want to be 100% committed to, here's what that might look like. You're practicing what you preach. You're helping reduce at a significantly large scale. You're having hard conversations. You're changing industries. You're working with scientists, with governments, on boards. You're asking hard questions. You have deep, focused work, and you have rest days. So if we want to be 100% committed to that and living from our future self today, here's what you might change in your current self, aside from those like small shifts. You may leave your job. You may just quit and be like, no, I'm 100% in. I'm not saying you have to do this by any means. You may only take a job specifically in that field, not just at the company, but you're only going to say yes if it's that job. You're going to start volunteering now. You're going to help experts and people working on it. You're going to go do things and screw it up and start learning how to do the work. You're going to start doing it now. You're going to focus on changes you can make in your current environment with the people you're around right now. You're not going to wait to be an expert. You're going to start helping now. So here's my question to you. Are you committed to your career goals? Are you attached to the current job you have right now? You will continue to be distracted by the clearer path to the lesser goal. Let your future self dictate who you are today. Live from that person. You know, they always say like dress the part you want, not the one you have. Sure, but let's go bigger. We're not just going to change the clothes we wear. Let's question all of it. Would future you be going to that meeting you have on your schedule? Would they be saying yes to what you said yes to? Would they be working late? Would they be working nights and weekends? Would they not be planning dinner parties? Would they wait to be an expert? No. Go do those things now. And then you rinse and repeat, and you do this over and over and over. What you're going to find is change is going to happen so much faster and better than any path you could have imagined. This is you making up the path and sprinting down it. We're not strolling on the very clear path already paved with millions of others. We are running so fast because we are 100% committed and living today from our future self. Our future self is dictating what we do and don't do today. All right, my friends, you're amazing. You got this. We'll talk soon. If what you're learning from this podcast is helping, this is just the beginning. Each week, I offer a limited number of coffee chats so that you and I can connect one-on-one and talk specifically about what's going on for you. You'll leave this call feeling more hopeful and motivated, but I'm also going to teach you a few things to try right away to get unstuck. Space is very limited and these are free, so grab your spot before they're gone. Click the link in the show notes or go to lindsaylymancoaching.com/chat and sign up today. You got this.